in the past year, I helped my younger brother get to the national championship finals here in England, not just once, but twice, making him the top 2 in the country in his division. And here is the 5 best bits of advice I can give to you about boxing footwork to help you dominate your next sparring session. Now, the first thing you're gonna wanna do with your feet is to keep your feet under you at all times and keep your shape. Because when we're moving around in boxing, if we haven't got that strong base, then you're not gonna be able to throw punches or defend punches either, which is not a good position to be in. Boxing is a game of hitting and not getting hit. So if you can't do either of them things, you're gonna be pretty screwed. So as long as you've got your weight and your feet under you, it's hard to get this wrong. So think about not crossing your feet, because if you're crossing your feet like this from your boxing stance, you're gonna lose balance. And also think about not bringing your feet close together, because if they're close together, again, you're not gonna have that strong base to work off. So as long as your feet are under you, no matter what you do, when you're throwing punches, when you're rolling and slipping, if your feet are under you, you've got that strong base to work off and you shouldn't be in too much trouble. Now, the next thing you're gonna wanna be able to do with your feet is be able to adapt to any range and distance that you're boxing at, because a lot of people are comfortable when they're out of range, nothing's really going on, right? Because, well, no punches are being thrown and you're not exactly in the danger zone. But just think about it. You can be taller when you're back here. When you're working on your straight shots and you're keeping it long, you can be a bit more upright and a little bit taller. But as you get close to that target, your legs need to become more important and have priority over what your hands are doing. Because if your feet are narrow when you're up close, and look, let's say this bag is an opponent pushing into me, the bag hits me, I don't have any balance there. So what you wanna do, the closer you get to an opponent, the more you wanna slightly widen your stance and get lower, because your feet will control your strength now. You're now stronger because your feet are in a better position and you can work at these close range distances. But as it gets longer, I can get a little bit more upright and stand a little bit taller because I'm in a safer position to do that. But your footwork has to be able to adapt and be ready no matter what distance you're working at. Now, the next thing I want you to look at with your footwork is keeping all your steps as small as possible. Now, what I mean by that is, if I'm back here, you can clearly see I can't reach the bag. So rather than lunging in, boom, with a big step, you can see that coming from a mile away. You can see that I'm gonna lunge in and it doesn't look very professional, right? So what you wanna do is actually make them steps small. So I'm gonna creep my way in first. Now I'm just out of range and I can boom, boom, there, boom, then just get back out. And see, when I'm moving around, my steps are small. I'm not taking big steps around the bag like this, because again, if I'm doing that for a split second, I'm vulnerable, I'm not balanced. And if I get caught in that split second, I could get knocked down. So remember, keep your steps nice and small, don't make them any bigger than you need to. And the next thing you're gonna wanna do is join my free boxing school. I have a free online community with a full beginner to boxer program. It's completely free. I'll leave the link in the description for you to go and join that. But it's a place for you to learn boxing, get drills, daily tips and feedback on your boxing skill. So go check it out. The next bit of advice I can give to you about footwork is stop being so far away from your target, especially if you're sparring, hitting the pads, hitting the bag. You don't need to be all the way back here. And I know, yeah, it's safe and you get time to breathe, but you don't want to be doing that. You need to get comfortable with literally just being half step back from your target and moving around here. Because now at any point, all it takes is for me to step in, just a small step, I'm back in, and I can quickly get back out. So make sure you're not all the way back in, because this is useless. This is where you're gonna have to lunge in and take them big steps. So don't be too far away from your opponent, because you're not gonna be able to do anything from there. And if you do all that work to get in and throw a couple shots, and maybe you land one, don't go all the way back out, because then you can't go again. Instead, if you're closer, you can go boom, boom, step out, and then go again, nice and quick. But if you step out too far, you will not be able to do that. The final bit of advice I'm gonna give to you today is probably the most important. So make sure you're listening in and actually applying this one the most, because it is very, very important. But what I'm talking about is actually using your feet as your main form of defense. Now, you can defend punches in many ways. You can parry and block shots with the gloves there. You can catch them on the arms. You can roll punches. You can slip them and move your head. Blah, 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 blah. But your feet should actually be your best form of defense. Because again, just think, if you throw 2 shots and you step out of range, your opponent now can't catch you unless they step in again. And you can use that against them to then lead them onto your own shot. So you might throw 2 shots, let them step in, boom, boom, then catch them as they step in. And not even just that, that's only moving forwards and backwards. But just think, if you go boom, 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 and then you pivot off to your left and move around them, your opponent now has to turn and adapt to that before they can throw punches, because you're moving left and right. You're going off that center line where they can throw punches. So if I have an opponent that steps this way over here, I now have to turn before I can throw punches again. So if you're moving left and right, that's a brilliant form of defense, which actually puts you in a better position. So your feet are the most important defense before anything in boxing. Now drop a comment below if there's any other videos you'd like to see on this channel. Otherwise, I'm Cody, and I'll see you soon.